We'll make it happen.
Is it okay? I think I have your number because of the group and stuff. So if ever, I'll get in touch with you.
Yep, no problem.
Are you here for long?
Monday I leave.
Back to Dubai.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Are we starting now?
Yep,
Okay.
we are.
I'm just gonna get to know you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cool, cool. Coming on soon, get your people on.
When I think about property and I look at this and ci ora facciamo con questi di ci hobby perché
I get it too. I get it in return, but that's 200 a month. A day.
just buy I need to start with that. I think that's not bad. I had with my launch. It messed with my mindset a little bit. But I'm getting over that. You should take the number actually. It should be excitement. Is that how you spell it?
Only one year.
That's me. Yeah, I'm glad you're the expert now. That's amazing. Yeah, it's mainly service accommodation there, right? Which is going well. I really enjoy it. If there's an easier way.
Driving our seats, guys and girls? Yeah. Let's get started. Everyone settle in.
Is that your hour?
Sorry?
Is that your hour? Sorry.
Yeah. This is, oh yeah.
Ice.
Hot water.
Oh, hot water.
Celsius, give me my drink.
I saw your video.
Thank you very much. Everyone say hello to Leadership Live!
Why do you
Yes, hi everyone. Lovely to see you guys. We just hit the Abbey 5 Foundation. Honestly, we're so grateful. It's been an amazing journey. And we couldn't have done it without Cal. It's been like that. It's been super amazing to be around you guys. Thank you.
Everyone grab your seats, settle down. Welcome back. All right. Hope you enjoyed that little half an hour stretch. Calibrate some of the information. How many of you can absolutely, categorically, without a shadow of a doubt, say that already from the first half session, your life is never going to turn out the same again? Just have a quick show the audience, guys and girls. This is the power of people. When people get together and make powerful decisions together, I'm telling you what, the world is a different place as a result. Thank you so much for that, guys and girls. There you go, boom, done. All right. That's for the audiences. Now we get back to our audience, right? So first of all, thank you for everyone that played a very important part in staying with it. I know there were a few little bumpy bits there. Sometimes you've got to get through the bumpy bits to get to the good bits, right? What was, before we start, I want to say a couple of learnings. What were the main key points for you personally? It's got to be personal. You don't need to repeat the presentation or the training. Share something personal that opened up for you that you know is going to, that you taking it forward into your life is going to transform the way that you live your life. Yes, go for it. Pausing. Who found the pause button a useful tool? Instant, practical, works 100% of the time. Well done. Yes. Same one. Look at that. Anyone? Yes. What's yours?
Trusting yourself.
Trusting yourself. Who could definitely do with more of that? Trusting your... And here's the thing about trust, right? All of the mistrust that you have in your wiring, if you like, is all historical. There is no mistrust in the present moment. We learn a lot from the universe. The universe, in order for the universe to work as beautifully as it does, it only operates in trust. The tree doesn't mistrust anything. The plant, the flower doesn't mistrust anything. Do you see what I'm saying? The universe is always in trust. So any distrust that we have is just internal. There's no mistrust in the universe. Do you get that? All of the mistrust is an inside job. It's the way that we destroy our own experience from being in the present moment, being grateful and having a great life. So trusting yourself, big, big, big lesson in winning and moving forward in life. What else?
Identifying your excuses.
Very, very powerful. Identify your excuses. I love how everyone's calling me today. Isn't that amazing? That phone never rings. It's surreal. I love it. Identifying your excuses. Most people spend their entire life living by them and defending them. You with me? Yeah. It's true. You just gave birth. It's impossible to do anything when you've just given birth. Until somebody gives birth and does it anyway. Can you see? You've got to really unbreak all of the things that you think are true. When you understand that every truth that you have is 100% bullshit. Every truth that you live by is 100%, what is it? Bullshit. Otherwise known as belief system. You with me? Your entire belief system is bullshit. Isn't that amazing? That means everything. Everything you believe to be true is only a lie that you told yourself so often it's all you know. Everything you hold to be true is a lie told so often you know no different. And if that science can be understood, you can tell yourself a different lie and make that your new belief system, your new bullshit. If it's all bullshit anyway, why not create really good bullshit? You with me? You're going to make it up anyway. You're going to make up stories about people, about yourself, about the world, about government, about politics, about economics, about your country. Everything you're going to make up bullshit. Why not make up good bullshit? Is that making sense? How do you make up good bullshit? Normally, you can find the answer in approximately the opposite side of your current belief system. Is that making sense? Whatever you currently believe, whatever is true for you, the opposite of that is also true for somebody else. Is that making sense? If I believe something with 100% integrity, authenticity, transparency, and in everything who I am, and you believe 100% the opposite of what I believe, with the same level of intensity, integrity, commitment, and belief, who's right? Me, every time. No, both. Your bullshit is true for you and mine's true for me. You get it? All of the wars in the world that are fought are over this stuff. I'm right, you're wrong. No. Everybody's right in their world. Are you with me? Everybody's right in their world. So when you become positional, when you become fixed, when you become decided about something that doesn't serve you, you can't really say we're an intelligent species, can you? Right? Human beings think we're intelligent. Evidence says otherwise. Not very intelligent at all. Thousands of years, we haven't even learnt the basic principles. Is this making sense? Thousands of years, and we haven't even worked out the little stuff. What's that all about? Because it's woven into the way that life works, the way that we've designed it as humans. Is that making sense? The minute you yank a kid out of their home and throw them into a school, it's like a sausage machine. Is that making sense? They all come out thinking in a certain way, believing in a certain way. That's local to their country's belief. Is that making sense? And they grow up their whole life thinking everything they were taught is the truth. And when they meet somebody else from another environment, another country, another belief system, they fight them. And like I said, whether it's a personal fight in the street where they stab each other, or it's a global fight where they throw missiles at each other, the conversation is the same, it doesn't change. Okay. If you ordered food, it's ready at the bar, just so you know. So if you need to... Only the important stuff gets through to me here. So if you've ordered stuff, go grab it, bring it back in the room. This is going to be way more important than a sandwich for sure. Unless you make your sandwich more important than this, right? And people do. People do. I'll give you a couple of minutes. You won't miss anything, I promise. Yeah, right. I'm cool, aren't I? I love it. Play around with a little bit of FOMO there. All right, good. Everyone's settled down. So, this is what we're dealing with every day of our lives. All right? The hardest thing a human being will do is give up what they believe. All right? One of the hardest things that you're going to do is surrender to what you believe as questionable. All right? You spent your whole life defending your beliefs. That's all we've done. The output of a human being is spending our whole life defending what we believe. That's all we do. So when you spend your whole life defending something about you and your point of view, it's not easy for me to come up here and say, okay, it's all bullshit, let it go. Everything that comes out of your mouth is bullshit. Let it go. And you're going to go, what the hell are you talking about, me? I know more than you don't know. You obviously don't know me. That's going to be an instant defense mechanism, right? You don't know what I know. You don't know what I've been through. You can't tell me it's all bullshit. I can, and I did. Starts right there. Can you see? Starts right there. Anything you have a knee-jerk reaction to get defensive about, undo it. If you can undo that, game over. Unstoppable. You can connect to any human being, anyone on the planet, any level, instantly. When you give up your judgments, your ideas, your opinions, your fixed thoughts about stuff, when you can give that stuff up, you finally get present to what's actually going on in the world. You can finally get to see a human being for a human being when you can let go of the noise you have around that stuff of what they should look like, what colour they should be, how they should sound, what accent they should have. All of that stuff that you put in the way, your judgments, your labels, your opinions, your ideas about how life is, when you let that go, you grow. Then I can speak like this and you still won't judge me. That's how it works, right? I had a program dedicated to that. Remember, Mind Your Language? When I was a little kid, right? Mind Your Language. All the different accents, because it was early then, it was new. So I think it was a great program because it allowed people to see how, you know, all these beautiful people were just human beings that worked together, having a great learning experience in a new environment. Is that making sense? But is that how human beings embraced it? No, they all took the piss, called me happy and called somebody else nigger and called somebody else bubble and called somebody else something else. Is that making sense? Had to go through all of that noise. So eventually, some people still haven't woken up, that's fine, but some people start waking up and go, oh, actually, I can speak to my neighbour who's a different colour to me and speaks in a different accent. Wow, they're quite nice people. That's called progress and growth. Is that making sense? Wow. Can we grow? If we understand ourselves better, can we grow more? Yes. And that's what this is about, right? When you understand that everything that you think is real is not. Here's a big one. We challenge this as well. Something can really wind up over this one, right? Your beliefs around your religion. I know, it's one of them, isn't it? Shall we go there? You're already going for the food. Religion, right? That's a big one. Anyone here have some religious beliefs? Are they true?
Yes.
After all of that, what is your religion, Fatima? Christian. Is it true? Wonderful. No, you don't do religion. No, you? Me neither, by the way. You? Christian. Christian. Undecided. Sikh. Hindu. No religion. We don't do that. Spiritual. There you go. I like that one. Food. Who's right? Everyone. Yeah. Do you see that? What's the truth?
Love.
Isn't it interesting? Whatever you tell yourself often enough becomes your reality and truth, right? That's it. And if that's it, you'll never learn outside of that. You'll never know, like Fatima could never know, what's your name? Sanjay. She can know what Sanjay looks like, she can know what he sounds like, but she can never know Sanjay when it comes to that. Is that making sense? And therein is the reason for most wars on the planet. Ta-da! Countries have been massacred to instill new religious beliefs. Isn't that amazing? Hello? Yeah. Who's uncomfortable? I can feel it in the air. Right? But really, like, if you can go there, like, everything is bullshit. Now, does that mean that all of these wonderful books that were written have not got any great lessons in them? Of course they have. They've all got great lessons. Just like the Bible's got great lessons in it, the Quran has got great lessons in it, the Bhagavad Gita's got great lessons in it, as so has the food manual of the planet got great lessons in it. Now, when we can relate to them as lessons for living life powerfully, it's a whole different set of rules. But when you relate to it like the truth, you're fucked. Can you see that? Because everything else has to be wrong, because they all contradict each other. They all tell you that this is the only way. That making sense? Well, if this is the only way and you're not on that path, then we've got a problem. Can you see that? How can you possibly embrace another when your way is the only way? You're screwed. You're screwed for the rest of your life. Isn't that amazing? So you've got a couple of options. Keep what you got and have a very limited experience of life, or let go of what you've got, keep the great stuff, but also be open to all the other great stuff on the planet and become a much more rounded human being. Rather than being confined to a label, be open to all of it. The best of everything. Who thinks theory number 2 might work a little bit better for the average human being on the planet to have a better life? Show me your hands. How many of you are going to do it? Highly unlikely, don't lie. I'm going to go home and go, Om Bur Buha Swaha. And somebody else is going to go home and say, thank the mighty Lord. And somebody else is going to go and say, and that's cool, right? Because there's a lot of good stuff there. What I'm saying is keep the good stuff, but don't be so ignorant that you think that's the only stuff. And that way is the only way. Don't kid yourself with the bullshit that sometimes get taught by people that don't understand the book in the first place. Is that making sense? People have their own incentive, motivations to drive stuff and keep it a certain way. Don't buy into that indoctrinated way of thinking. Making sense? Well, you can if you want. I'm saying if you want to grow, then don't do that. If you want to stay small and shrunk and hidden in a little bubble of belief, fine. But if you want to have a much bigger experience of life, undo all of that. Like, what if you weren't born into your home and you were born into the person sat behind you or in front of you or next to you's home? Would that say less about you?
I'd like to say it, James.
Some of you want to swap out, right? Like, yes, please. Do you see what I'm saying? What if when you're a sperm, find your way through all the other religious sperms, you ended up in a different body, and a different country, and a different language, and a different look, and a different... Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make you less of a human being than the one you are right now? No. So who are we to judge others, right? Who are we to put others in a smaller box than our own? Like, yeah, we got the big box, they got the small box. No. You're all in a box. Is that making sense? So undoing this stuff is not easy. It's lifelong. When you've been told something from this age to that big, it's a lot of work to do. Would you agree? Yeah. It's a lot of work. It wasn't easy for me to become non-religious. Tough decision, right? You've been born and raised one of the most beautiful teachings on the planet, and you surrender that and go, no, you know what? As much as I love all of it, and I do, I'm not being labelled by it, not being defined by it, not being confined by it. I'm not going to be brought into a label. Make sense? Takes work. Didn't happen overnight. Takes a lot of work. Here's how you do it. Do you want to know how to do it? Lean forward. It's one of those moments. Lean forward, lean forward. It's another one of those golden moments. Are you ready for this? We've done that one already. Read and listen to more. Wow, wow, wow. Could it be that simple? Could it be if you read another person's book, it might give you a bit more insight, a bit more wisdom, a bit more learning, understanding? Is that possible? Hello?
Yes.
Wow, serious. See how simple this stuff is? The more input you can gain, see, here's the beautiful thing about learning, it's infinite. You're not confined to how much you can learn, how much you can receive, how much you can fill yourself with. All right? You go, Counts, how do you know so much? I've read so much and listened to so much. There's just a lot of shit that comes out of here. Are you with me? I've learned a lot of bullshit. Is that making sense? From many different people, on many different continents, in many different backgrounds, and many different. I've learned it all from as many as I can. So my bullshit is the best bullshit. Because it's everybody's bullshit. You see that? It's like rainbow bullshit. My belief system is so flexible. I just buy into stuff, right? If it resonates, I buy into it. I studied that the world is flat. Did you know that? Did you know that there's a society in the world called the Flat Earth Society? Who's heard of it? I did come to the conclusion they're a bunch of like really lost people, but I explored it. I didn't write it off straight away. It's like, okay, let's see what they say. It didn't take me long to work it out, but you know what I mean? It's like there are people that will buy into that and they spend their life converting people into, listen, you've been duped. The world is flat. Written books about it. Scientific explanations, everything. Now, I feel a right muppet if we get into space one day, or others have if I go to space and witness myself that it's not like a flat dish. I'll be shocked. At the moment, with everything that I've picked up along my life, I'm happy to believe that the world is not flat. Is that cool? But I came to the conclusion after exploring what was being said, what was their scientific explanation, and what their belief system was around it. Because I'm just going to be open. Like if you come to me with something, I'll be like, okay, show me. Show me. I don't know. I don't know everything. That's how you're going to be a better version for people. Now I'm talking about at every level. See, when you're in the world of being an entrepreneur, when you're self-employed and you've decided to carve out your future for yourself, you're not depending on somebody else for a paycheck. You're going to write your own paycheck. When you do that, you better get good at connecting with people. You give yourself the best advantage. You better get good at connecting with every type of people. Are you with me? The more types of people you can connect with and resonate with and build relationships with, the better you will do for yourself as an entrepreneur. Could it be that easy? No. No? It doesn't have to be. All of this that I'm sharing with you is all about stacking the odds of success in your favor. None of it's guaranteed, obviously. But it's all about stacking the odds of success in your favor. That's one thing we can all do. Agreed? Yeah. We can't guarantee success, but you can absolutely do everything in your power to stack the odds of it in your favor. Fair enough? Yeah. So to stack the odds in your favor, these are some of the things you want to learn to do. Undo everything you think you know and be open to more. Fair enough? Yeah. When connecting with people, I want to talk about very quickly the types of people that there are on the planet, and there are millions of types of people and billions of us on the planet, right? But fundamentally, over the centuries, many different people have studied this subject and concluded 4 categories that we all fundamentally can fall into. Is that making sense? And there are subcategories and all of that. You can go into deep into this. But at a very basic, simple level, there are 4 fundamental types of human beings that if we can master these different 4 parts of ourselves, we'll connect with a lot more people a lot easier. Is that making sense? Yeah. So I'll do them as colours. We've got red, blue, green, and yellow. Alright? These are common colours used, sometimes in different orders, but I've got my own order that I've learned, so I'm going to stick to that. So these 4 different fundamental personality types, we call them, we've all got them. First of all, that's important to understand. All of us have all personality types inside of us. Make sense? All of us have the ability to get up at the Oscars, walk across the stage and slap somebody across the face if the words were the words that we don't like. Is that making sense? Yeah. If the environment was right, we've all got the ability to, oh no, I'm not biased, I wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, if somebody was threatening your child, you might change your mind. Is that making sense? So everyone has everything. We can all get angry, we can all be lovey-dovey, we can all be haters, we can all be lovers, we can do all of it. Is that making sense? Yeah. So now it's to understand, what do we do most easily and as a default mechanism? Because most people haven't studied themselves. Are you with me? So what kind of personality type is your dominant personality? And what are the areas that are not as well developed, as well familiar? They're not things that you use often. Does that make sense? would you agree that if you could access more parts of yourself, again, it would add to your ability to communicate and connect with more people more effectively?
Yeah.
So it's all about self-understanding, right? Is that? Thank you. Right. The first one, the red personality, we call them the go-getters. They make decisions quickly. They get decided, they get focused, they take massive action, they get stuff done. What do? Get stuff done. They're the no bullshit people. All right? They don't have time for bullshit. Make sense? They're not interested. They're on a mission. All right? You often find them at the top of the food chain. You with me? You find them as CEOs of large companies. You find them as self-employed people of smaller businesses. You find them as the head of a family. These are the people that are not afraid to make their stand and follow through on their stand. Is it making sense? When they make a decision, don't get in their way. It won't end well. You with me?
Yeah.
The second type of person is the blue personality. These are those in society, they're a little bit goofy, always laughing, having fun, life is light, get over yourself, don't stress, don't sweat the small stuff. These guys are very aloof, they're not present often, they're always just like, too busy having fun to be present. Does that make sense? Good and bad, of course, obviously. They're not very organized, they miss appointments, they're late, they're just, they're not structured. If you ask them how they got to the top of the plan, I say, I don't know, I just got there, man. It's like, spoke to a few people, they came with me, went to a few parties, they all joined, and here we are, V5. You with me? If you speak to a red, they're like, what do you mean, how do you get there? Just make some phone calls. Why are you sitting there talking to me? Get invited. You with me? That's all I did. I invited loads of people, they came, they signed up, and now we've got a business. Why aren't you doing the same thing? The green personality, these are people in society that are focused on the small stuff. They need to know everything. They're the detail-centered person. They're the ones that read everything before they sign it. They need to read the T's and C's first. Make sense? They don't do anything until they know everything. I need to understand the plan. I didn't understand the plan. I'm V5. Why do you need to understand it? I just do. Green. Right? I'm not speaking to anyone until I know how the global bonus works. And you're not even going to get it to a V2. You really don't. I need to know. That's them. They need to know. All right? And then the yellow personality, bless them. The yellow people are the lovers. They love trees. They love plants. They love nature. They just love everything. They want to hug trees. They want to make the world a better place. They want to feed people that haven't got food. They want to give clothes to people that don't have clothes. Just want to, hang out and just be really nice and just, aww. They want to do that, right? So these are kind of the four parts to all of us that we have. Is that making sense? Identify first which one of these is the one that shows up most in your life every day from a day-to-day perspective. That will give you your main dominant personality type, your trait. Is that making sense? So who here identifies as a red dominant? Like, look at that. Look at this. Look around the room. Now, this is not reflective of society. Let me just tell you that. All right? This is reflective of a room full of entrepreneurs. Is that making sense? That's why you're going to get high red ratios here. All right? In life, there's very few. That's why there's very few CEOs, prime ministers, presidents, top of the food chain positions in the world. Does that make sense? Who here identifies as a blue? Too much fun all the time, light-hearted, enjoying the process. Yeah? Very good. Any greens in the room? Have a look at these guys, they'll get on your nerves. Just this. And yellows. How many yellows in the room? Oh, give the yellows a big wave. They love a nice wave. Awesome. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. Alright. All of this, by the way, is 100%. Just reminding you, alright? So, just because you show up as one of these most of the time doesn't mean that's who you are. It's just what's comfortable for you. It's what you've practiced the most. So it becomes familiar and then you think that's who you are. That becomes your limitation. Is this making sense? Would you agree that too much of any of these is detrimental to a powerful life? Right? So the key is to bring the other areas into the rest of your life so you can create more of a balanced life. Is that making sense? Good. If you put a red in the same room as a yellow, maybe even the same home, they go, will you? I will. Finish. It all looked good in the moment, didn't it? Will you? I do. Game over. Can you see that? The red's making phone calls on a mission, gets a V5, laser focus, doesn't need any food, doesn't need water, doesn't need conversation, nothing. Full on focus. The yellow partner looks at the time, must be hungry. Let me get him a cup of tea, let me get her a cup of tea. Goes into the room, just like, I'll be quiet, won't disturb them too much. Yeah. All right, darling, just thought I'd give you some tea. Can you not see I'm working? Why are you disturbing me now? Now, yellow's not good at handling this stuff, right? They're yellow. When a yellow gets that tone, what do you think happens to a yellow? The lovey-dovey world gets crushed in a heartbeat. He doesn't love me! I'm not going to believe what he just did! I'm distraught! It's just a communication gap, right? When you don't know this stuff, it's lethal. Can you see that? But when you know, is it possible as a red, when your loving partner comes up in the room to serve some tea or coffee just looking after you, is it possible to press pause and say, I don't need to do red right now, I need to do yellow right now? And just for a few seconds, switch modes and go, oh, thank you, so caring, really generous. Thank you so much for thinking of me and looking after me. I'll press you through. And now the partner goes again, he loves me. You see? I don't know if you're laughing because you're nervous or because you're laughing because it's funny, right? It's like, yeah, it's true, right? Exactly. So when you understand that's how the gears work, then you need to know what gear to be in and when. Does that make sense? Yes. Think of it like first gear, second gear, third gear, and fourth gear, and you need to know what gear to be in based on the incline of the road and the traffic conditions and the type of road you're on and the rules of that road. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's called being present. Know your environment, know your situation, know who you're interacting with. And once you start understanding these kind of things about yourself, you understand them about others. You can literally pick up within 5 minutes of speaking to somebody what ticks their boxes, what kind of communication they enjoy more. Does that make sense? Yeah. See, if you bring this into your pitching game, when if you're a yellow and you're pitching a red, and you, hey John, listen, I've just seen this really lovely thing. I'd love to I know you're busy. I hate disturbing your life. I know you've got no time for me, poor little me. But if I can just have 5 minutes, you've got no chance. You're already bored, yawning, thinking, how am I going to get this person off the phone? Do you see? And then you go back to your upline, and if you're yellow, your upline conversation normally goes on like, oh, Vinny, do you know what? I mean, nobody's listening to me, and they won't come to the Zooms, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and what should I do? And Vinny's going, just call them! All of that goes on. Can you see? If you do yellow most of the time, and you're picking up the phone to invite somebody, don't do yellow. Make sense? Yeah. You bring out your red. Now, does a yellow know how to do red? Yes. You bet they do. All right? The same mother that's putting that baby to sleep will slap you around the face if you come close and threaten the baby. Is that making sense? We've all got all of it. Is that making sense? All of us have all of it. We just don't practice any of it often enough for it to be familiar and comfortable and second nature. The key is to practice more of the stuff you don't practice, so when you need it, it's on tap. It's ready. It's not unfamiliar. You're not fumbling around. Oh, what do I say next? How do I handle this situation? All of that disappears when you've worked this stuff out. Make sense? The noise disappears when you know how to be in the right gear for that moment in time. You can diffuse bad situations in seconds. You can create magic in moments where there was none. You can create possibility when the conversation was dead. You can literally do anything you want when you've got these 4 powers on your side. You can do anything you want, anywhere in the world, in any scenario, in any interaction with any human being. You can create connection. You can create compassion, empathy, influence, move people. You can do all of that if you understand that. Is that making sense? Yeah. If you don't understand this, then you just make a mess for yourself and others. Are you with me? Yes. So this is really, really powerful too. Really kind of engagement. Now, I'm not going to spend more time on it because it's a whole half-a-day subject, if you like. What I'm going to say, though, there's loads you can learn about this in your own time. Learn it. If you go to YouTube and type in personality types, there's more videos than you could watch in an entire lifetime. You don't need to spend a lifetime watching them unless you're green. The rest of you can watch one. The rest of you can watch 1 or 2 to get the flavour of the idea and move forward with velocity and make stuff happen. Is that fair enough? And again, if you are green, see if you can have the challenge of not watching all of them and trusting that the one you watch is more than enough. How about that for a change? Would that be good? Would that make your life a little bit easier? Free up? Yeah, of course it would. Everyone will benefit when you understand. You know, there is a time when you need to do that, right? If you're signing important documents, you need to know the detail, fine. Then bring out the green and do that, right? And if you're not a green like me, I'm the least green person on the planet, then get somebody that's green to do that stuff for you. Is that making sense? But you need that there. In that moment, in that time, then you need something, somebody that's got that to take care of that side of it. Make sense? Yes. So always know, you know, that when there's a time and a place that needs one of those things, that it's there in place to cover that. Is that making sense? Some of the most successful companies in the world use this stuff for their staff and their management teams, their top tables, to make the companies more efficient and more productive and profitable. Is it making sense? So why shouldn't you do it for your business? You're self-employed. What are you? Self-employed. So you are the 100% owner and responsible for 100% of the results that you produce as that entrepreneur. Does it make sense to be the best version of you can be so you can maximize the odds? Yeah? So that's why this is so great for entrepreneurs. For me, entrepreneurs get the best of all of it. In the corporate world, you can be one of those and get to the top to a certain point with just that skill, without ever exploring the rest. But then that still becomes your life experience. All you'll ever know is that. In the entrepreneur's world, you can be all of it anytime you want. Anyone got multiple personality disorder here? You will have after this. You're like, what hat shall I wear now? I used to say this in the early days when I didn't know it was distinguished like this. I could go to any environment with any people, anywhere, any party, house party, nightclub, bar, pub. I could be anywhere, anytime, and comfortably fit in, and in no time be building relationships, communication with people without any issues. Never knew what it was, but all I was doing was all of this. When I was reading, I was like, oh, that's how it works. So I kind of accidentally was doing that. Is that making sense? But I also knew most people didn't know how to do any of it. Most people sitting in a corner waiting for somebody to go to them and all of that kind of stuff going on, right? So that's the power of this stuff. Know yourself and bang, the world is your oyster. You watch how your list starts to grow. Your contact list will be infinite and never-ending people coming in your direction when you can connect with more people more effectively. Everyone good with that? Yes. I like it. So let me share my story. Everything I shared so far about my story was actually my grandparents, my parents, right? Now let me share what happened to me from the age of 10. 10 years old, we moved into the Barbican, and I witnessed my parents are there from the morning when I wake up till the evening when I get home from school. They're still there. I'm a happy 10-year-old. I'm like, wow, this is cool. Parents are here on site, on tap. I also learned within a couple of years, wasn't long, 2-3 years, life began to change. Whereas for the first 10 years, it was always one day we'll get there. It was never no. Mom, Dad, I want a bike. Not now. I want that. Not now. We'll get there one day. So that's a huge plus, right? How many kids get told not now? It's not for us. It's not for you. It's for them. Can you see that divisive mindset? Them and us? No. Ours was already not now. Then the not now time came. When the shop came, life changed. Suddenly we started buying clothes in nicer shops. We started going to restaurants to eat dinner. My dad bought a car, a new one. Never had a brand new car before, always second-hand. Bought a brand new car for the first time. Things started to change. Is that making sense? As a young kid, I'm absorbing that. I've always been curious. Write this down. Always be curious. Always be curious. People often say, Kalpesh, what is it? What's the stuff? And I say, curiosity is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself. As I was growing up through life, I witnessed so many of my friends lose their curiosity. Very easily lost, right? Always be curious. What if? What if you did something different? What could happen? What if something worked? Not what if it doesn't work. Can you see that? All of this is training. Don't think what if it doesn't work. Think what if it works. Completely different way of being. Can you see that? Yeah. So as I'm going through life and I'm witnessing, hold on, working in a job or multiple jobs didn't produce the kind of results that working for yourself does. What do you think that young teenager was deciding at a subconscious level for the rest of his life plan? I'm going to be an entrepreneur when I grow up. The idea of having a job has never existed in my paradigm. Even from being that young kid, as a teenager, I couldn't figure out how my mum and dad were saying you've got to get a good education so you can get a good job, so you can have a good life, when everyone that had a job didn't have a good life. Couldn't figure it out. But why would my parents do that? Do you think my parents loved me? Of course they did. Do you think they were a little bit misinformed? No. They were. See how we fight it? Parents can't be misinformed? Yes, they freaking can. Why do you think my parents said you have to get a good education to get a good job? Because they never had a good education and therefore never offered the good job. And in their time and in their world, that was the fix. Is this making sense? But for me as an outside witness, I'm like, are you kidding me? I want to be like you. I don't want to be like everyone else. You're trying to make me like everyone else. I want to be like you guys. I want to have new cars and nice clothes and eat in restaurants. Can you see that? Made my mind up when I was young. Decision was made very early on. I started my first business when I was 11 years old. Didn't take me long. Went to secondary school, they had a tuck shop. And straight away, that 1 year entrepreneurial mind spotted the opportunity. I saw the price that the school tuck shop was selling, drinks, crisps, chocolates. I knew what price we were buying it at for my dad, because he always kept me involved in cash and carries and buying and pricing it up and selling, and what is profit, what is VAT, what goes to the tax man, what do we keep, all of this, what is the rent, what is the overhead cost, all of that for me was wired in from a very young age. Is that making sense? Because mum and dad kept us involved in the business. So I spot the opportunity, I see the gap. I mean, Jim Rohn talks about it. I knew this when I was 11. Profits are better than wages. Guess how often that is true? Every day of the week. Profits are better than... Amazing, right? I remember my friends used to tell me about what their gross income was. I said, that's really gross. Disgusting. I said, how can they get away with that? You're educated, you're smart, you're good looking, they give you a shit wage. What's going on? Yeah, but one day they're going to pay me more. Okay. They buy into that, don't they? One day they're going to pay me more. Who else bought into that bullshit? Right? One day they'll pay you more. Yeah, maybe that 1 in 100 that gets the break. Here's how that world works, all right? Now, I'm not anti-jobs, by the way, all right? Just anti-jobs for me. Here's how that world works. In order for you to progress up the ladder, somebody needs to lose their job or die. Doesn't matter how hard you work, how smart you are, how effective you are. None of that matters if the position is not available. Is this making sense? There can only be so many positions in any organization. It's limited. What is it? The odds are already against you. The chances of you being a CEO of the company you started working in when you were 25 years old are next to... Even being a board member are next to... Can you see this? So it's delusional to think if I work harder, put in more hours, study more, eventually I'll be the CEO or the board member. Can you see that? It's never going to happen. Like it might. Like the odds are so remote. Is that making sense? Now look at our system. If I study hard enough and put in more hours and work at this and get better at who I am, can you become a VIP 5? Yes. Sorry? Yes. Some of you don't sound convinced. Can you? Yes. Anyone? Yes. Everyone? Yes. Did you just stack the odds in your favor? Yes. Come on now. What's going on? What are you struggling with in sharing that simple concept when you're sharing with people? They're fucked. I know. Who do you think gets affected most when I say they're fucked? Yes. Just know that, right? It was just a word. There could be another 100 different words. Like I said, I never swear outside of these environments, but when I'm on stage, I do have a good laugh with it. We triggered some people earlier with it, right? Happens. Just a word. And job. Tony's going, thank you. Just words, right? Know why is your world affecting you negatively? When do you get thrown off track? Know these things. Be present. Be aware. When does life get the better of you? Once you know, when you can identify your triggers, you can switch them off. If you don't know the triggers, you are out of sync your entire life. There are 50-year-olds and 80-year-olds that get pissed off when somebody says fuck. Make sense? What a world. When somebody says packing. What a world. Is this making sense? Buddha said it beautifully. If somebody gives you a gift, who does the gift belong to? Right? The person that accepts the gift. But what if you don't accept the gift? You'll get this in the afternoon, don't worry, it's still time. What if you don't accept the gift? What if somebody calls you a nigger and it's a 0, like you're just sitting there going, you just don't know me yet. Do you see? Right? That's what's possible. That's what's possible. Or you can go, who are you calling that? You can't say that, and you can do all of that. You can do that as well, right? That's another outcome. Congratulations. You decide how your world works out. You can fight your way to the end and die, or flow your way to the end and die. You choose. Isn't that cool? Who'd rather flow through life? It's a much beautiful ride, right? For me, in my opinion. So this is how you start learning to do these things. So as I'm hustling my way through, selling cans of Coke and chocolates and crisps and whatever the kids want, and this profit starts coming in, here's what happens. You develop the millionaire's walk. You know what we did? The millionaire's walk is very different to the poor person's walk. They're a couple of inches taller. Their smile goes from here to ear. And they walk like this. Ka-ching! 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 There's loose change in that 11-year-old's pocket. Those little 5p and 10p profits that he was making every day gave it a different walk and a different level of confidence and a different level of self-awareness, self-belief, just conviction in everything. Is that making sense? I was the only kid in the entire school that had pockets full of change. Doesn't take much. 50p a day, £1 a day, transform your life forever. Because it's 50p or £1 more than you had yesterday. And when you're 11 years old and you're practicing the art of profits better than wages, How's anyone ever going to convince you to get a job? Ain't going to happen, is it? You see what I'm saying? Do something every day that reconfirms your decision to be an entrepreneur. It's not an easy journey. It's worth taking. You with me? It's not an easy journey. It's so easy to take 2-3 grand a month, pay your bills, and keep still. Isn't it? It's easy to do that until you get to 65. It's a delayed, it's not delayed gratification, it's kind of delayed pain, right? You're going for the short win, you get to 65, and then you go, shit, now what for the next 20 years? Versus doing a little bit extra every day. So when you get there, you've got some skills, you've got some experience, but hopefully if you've got it right and work stuff out, you've got a few extra pennies in your pocket, so you're not shitting yourself for the next 20 years. Is that making sense? It doesn't happen overnight. Say that, remind me, what does it say? Overnight. See, this is where some of us, we give up too early, we get frustrated. I don't know how to do this, it's not working out, it's too slow, I'm struggling, it's different. All of that stuff is for everybody. You've got to get through that stuff. You've got to get past all of that to get it. Is that making sense? That's why people say it's not easy. The journey of an entrepreneur is one of the toughest journeys, in my opinion, that you'd ever take when it comes to money. All right? But it's a journey worth taking because the output is so phenomenal when you put the pieces of the jigsaw together and finally you see the jigsaw pieces turn into a piece of art that you designed in your head 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Is that making sense? Yeah. So make sure you design the piece of art in your head early, focus on it every single day, never forget what it is that you're committed to, and then act in accordance with that. Is that making sense? Yeah. So there I am. The principles never changed. When you buy something for X and you sell it for Y and Z is the profit, that's always the same. When I was like 15, 16, I was selling trainers, tracksuits, shell suits back in the day, Sergio Tacchini and Fila and Diodoras and all of that stuff, right? Giving away my age now. So I was selling all of that stuff in school. How did I do that? I did deals with local shops, wholesale rates, and listen, my school's over there, they're not going to come to your shop because they live all over the place. I can take your shop to them. If I have a list of all your stuff, will you give me a discount so I can sell it to all my friends? Yes, we can. And I'd buy stuff from shops locally and take it to school and sell it to people. I'd take orders. What do you want? I can get you 10% off. What tracksuit do you want? What trainers do you want? I'll get you 10% off. If I've got 20%, I'm making 10% for nothing, just for transporting it on my way to school where I was going anyway. Is this making sense? The mind of an entrepreneur. The 5 and 10 pences became 5 and 10 pounds profit per transaction. The activity was the same. The value of the transaction changed. Is this making sense? Yes. Didn't need to learn new skills. That's the beautiful thing about this stuff. Once you've got the skills, they are 100% with you for life. Isn't that cool? Wasn't long. Ended up going to higher studies in Norwich. And the game changed again. What did student want? Second-hand cars. The numbers changed. Instead of making 5 and 10 pounds, I'm making 500 and 1,000 pounds per transaction. That making sense? I filled the car park with like 15, 20 cars by the end of my first year, just with the profits I was making to buy more cars, expanding my business, expanding my, empire. Is that making sense? So while everyone else was going to class studying, I was chilling in my room, buying and selling cars. Putting adverts in Loot and Auto Trader and stuff like that, right? Yeah, remember Loot? Yeah. That's what I was doing. So for me, it was second nature. But it's second nature because I acquired the skills early. Can you see that? Here's what I'm saying. It's never too late. What if you acquired those skills at 30? Is it worth it? Yes. What about if you acquired them at 40? Is it worth it? Yes. What about 50? Still worth it? Yes. It's always worth it. That's the beautiful thing about this stuff. It's too late now. What are you talking about? What are you talking? What does that even mean? You're dead before you're dead. It's too late. When I hear it's too late, that's what I hear. You're dead before you've died. It's too late for me. What kind of nonsense is that? It's never too late for anything. Is that making sense? Yeah. So again, just understand how these conversations and these bullshit belief systems get spread around the world, and we hear them somewhere, pick them up. Like, where did that come from? It's too late for me. You didn't make that up. You heard it somewhere. Is that making sense? And then you repeated it like a parrot. That's why it's important not to be a parrot and to decide what your conversation is in advance and up front and focus on that conversation for your life. Don't focus on the conversation of the people around you, or you will end up the way that the masses end up. Make sense? Yeah. Change your language to support your outcome. Write that down. Change your thinking and your speaking to support your outcome. Henry Ford said it best. Whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you are right. Whether you say you can or you can't, who's to say? Only you. Either way, you're right. You decide. You decide your outcome up front and in advance, always. Your thinking, your language determines everything before you ever take the first step. Can you see now when you think that way and you speak that way and then you go to your friends, I've got this really great opportunity, the incongruency speaks so loudly that they don't want to join you. Why don't they want to join me? Because the way you think and speak doesn't equal to what you're showing them. You need to create some alignment. Is it making sense? Congruency. And the only way you're going to get congruency is when you think and speak the language of your future. Now they know you mean it. And you're going there with or without them. You're on your way anyway. You're not depending on them to do anything. You're doing it anyway and you love them to be a part of the journey. Some of you go out and you're speaking like you depend on somebody to be with you for you to get somewhere. That's never going to work. Counts if this one joins. It's going to change everything. No, it's not. It's not going to change a damn thing. Nothing. Who's ever caught themselves thinking like that? If this one comes in, it's game over. Who's ever thought of that? Yeah, it's bullshit. 100% bullshit. There's no such thing. Just making sense. I have had the most experienced leaders that have made multiple six figures join me and do nothing. And I've had people that have never done anything like this before that are doing multiple six figures a month. It's all bullshit. Preconceived ideas, opinions about who can and who can't and who should and who. Nonsense. Let them decide that. Show everyone and let them show up. How about that? Show everyone and let them show up. It's not about, listen, the system works. Who does it work for? Everybody. But if somebody's not ready, it doesn't matter how great the system is. If they're not ready, they're not going to see you, they're not going to hear you. You with me? So for you to get hooked up on what their feedback is about what you showed them, wrong energy focus. You've got one simple job. Show everybody. Who do you show? Everybody. Without filter, without judgment, without preconceived ideas and, oh, they don't, whatever noise you add to it is irrelevant. Is this making sense? Yes. And now there's too much evidence. We have too many real testimonials and stories in our business all over the world that have broken every paradigm anyone's ever had. Is this making sense? 400 people at the top of the plan. Why not you? In 2 years. In 27 years of doing this full time, I've never seen a company produce that level of result. It's always a handful that can reach to the top because it's tough. This company's made it easy for people to get to the top. And easy is context. It's still a journey, right? But you try to get to the top of Amway or Forever Living or Herbalife. Phenomenal companies. Multi-billion-dollar proven track record, solid companies. But to get to the top there, ain't going to happen in 2 years in a hurry. Once in a blue moon, but pretty much you're looking at a 5 to 10 year plan of non-stop committed action and not wavering left or right. Is that making sense? 2 years, 400, that's unquestionable. That's done. What are we about to do next? We haven't even started yet. You with me? The first company in the world to produce the kind of numbers that we're producing in terms of the rewards people are getting. Again, in every other company, handful able to reach 7 figures a year. You with me? Not to take anything away from that, right? That handful is more than any other industry in the world, by the way, just so you know. Network marketing produces more millionaires than any other single industry on the planet, year on year. Hundreds of billions in sales done, tens of billions paid out in rewards and commissions to people globally. I mean, Amway pays out over $1 billion a month. Wow. Sorry, they turn over $1 billion a month. They pay out $500 million a month. Just one company. Avon, same. A month. Oh, that doesn't work. Are you kidding? People are making $500 million a month out of that company. What about that doesn't work? What does your company do? Oh yeah, my owner makes it. Right, clue. My owner's a billionaire, right? What about everyone that's working under it? Oh yeah, no, they're in the pyramid. Can you see that? So the industry's phenomenal, and then we have a world-class system that's outperformed anything that's ever been done in 100 years in this industry. That's why I'm so excited about this. It's not just another network marketing company. It is the only network marketing company for the future. These guys have reset everything. They've raised the bar so much with evidence and proof, backed it up with real results. It's unquestionable. Now, if you're not leaning on that bullshit information, what are you leaning on? Can you see that? You try moving that bullshit from me, it's never going to work. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, 2 years. I've seen too many of my friends retire in 2 years. Too many for me to ever talk any other bullshit other than the bullshit I'm talking now. Are you with me? Yeah. The evidence is overwhelming. My belief system is that rock solid. You can't move this. I'll move you before you move me. Are you like that? Do people move you around, or are you the one doing the moving around? Think it through, guys. This is deep stuff. When you're interacting with somebody, are they moving you or are you moving them? That's all that happens. Every conversational interaction between human beings, somebody's leading and somebody's following. However subtle or obvious. But in every interaction, when a guy wants something, he's going to say stuff that he's never said before. Hello? Some of you missed it. He didn't go there, I did. When a guy wants some, he's going to say whatever he needs to say to get some. Doesn't mean he means it, doesn't mean it's true. Is this making sense? Anyone uncomfortable in the room? Uncomfortable is good. Write this down. Uncomfortable is good. I want you to go into your uncomfortable zone. You with me? Yeah. And when he doesn't, he'll say anything he wants to as well, to walk away. Isn't that true? Make up stories. That's all we do, right? Are you moving people or are they moving you? Life is a game. And people that understand the game, the odds are in their favour. It's a game of influence. Is that making sense? You either influence the nation to believe that they can be free of 200 years of slavery, or you don't. And if you influence them, you get called Mahatma Gandhi, and the world says, wow, something that was never going to happen, happened. Because somebody believed it, made the decision, followed through, focused on the outcome, overcame all obstacles, and undone 200 years of bullshit. Hello?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Yes.
Is it possible to be so powerful that as an individual you can move nations?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not asking any of you to move nations. But at least start moving your brothers and sisters and neighbours, man. Come on. Is this making sense?
Yeah.
Like, who are you when you show up? Would you want to listen to you? And if not, sharpen up, right? Would you be inspired by you? And if not, sharpen up. Leadership is a really great measure. The ranks are just a measure of your growth. Anyone can convince themselves they're growing in here. It's all bullshit. Attending the Zooms, reading the books, bullshit. If it doesn't show up on the bar, nothing's happening. Can you see? It's a false sense of progress. Those things are just components to produce the movement on the bar. The bar is your indication whether you're applying what you're learning in nuts and bolts, whether you're applying what you're learning in leadership, whether you're applying what you're learning from the presentations. The bar tells you whether you're applying it. It's not about how much you know. It's about how well you can use what you know to move the bar forward. Make sense? So network marketing is a game of influence. Everything in life is a game of influence. Network marketing is a game of influence where the measures are very clear. You've got a speedometer right there in the back office. When it says expert, you've already entered the top 5% of the entire global community. Isn't that cool? It's a measure. Nobody can take that away from you. And then as you work from expert to the rest of the ranks, you end up in the top 1%. Not even like the point something percent, right? Let's say there's about 500,000 members around the world, plus or minus. And there's 400, what is that as a percentage? Like 0.00001. Wow. Any V5s in the room? Stand up, please. Yay! Come to the front, come to the front. Yeah. Surprise!
Good.
So as you look at these, look, one of the requirements obvious is you've got to be super sexy to be a V5. I want all of them to share their experience of what it takes to get to the top. And I promise you this, each and every one of you will relate to their journey, because that is the journey, that's what it takes, right? So you sit there and go, it's all right for them. Well, actually, it is now, but it wasn't always, all right? It's very all right for them now, but that wasn't always the way it was it? So let's start with
me.
The man of the hour.
For me, it takes dedication, commitment, and it's about helping people and putting back. That's what it is for me. So if you help people, don't think about, everybody thinks it's about the money. It's not, it's about being successful. Whatever you do in your life, if you're successful in what you do, that's the byproduct that follows. Yeah, but you have to put the commitment and work ethic in above all. Yeah, because if you don't put that work commitment in, then you're not going to go anywhere. And don't look for excuses. So many people go, it's all right for you. Yeah, they're looking at excuses. So many negative people. You know, you just got to have that mindset that you can do. Attitude.
What was your biggest challenge in your journey?
My biggest challenge, because of what happened previously, yeah, was getting back on the horse. Because network marketing, when it goes well for you, network marketing itself is the best industry to be in. You know, there's no other industry like it. Okay, but when it can go bad, if you get in with the wrong business or the business fails, not through your fault or anything like that. And I nearly turned my back on network marketing. I did for 4 years. But then I thought to myself, hang on, these people are dictating to me what I should do. Yeah. Why am I listening to these people? Right? I know who I am. I know that.
When you say these people, are negative people that are judging you for failing a failed business in the past.
Yeah. But
a lot of that happens.
Yeah. And listen, any business, no business has the God-given right to survive. Look at Lehman Brothers, for example. Yeah. No business has the God-given right to survive, but all you can do, you make an informed decision, okay? And I believe, and the reason why I came back into network marketing was because of the owner of this business, okay? It's not a bad start to get involved with somebody who's a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, right? So that's why I got back involved.
Fantastic. Thank you, John. Jess and Pav.
You can go first.
Okay, so nice to meet you. I'm Jess. I'm 28 years old. I started this in October 2020, peak of pandemic. Job security was rife, redundancies were rife. I always wanted to diversify. We were actually trying to diversify through the property industry. Being the age that we are, it's not the most easiest to get into property. And then we fell into this. And we haven't looked back since. I actually, by profession, used to be in the respiratory healthcare sector, so I contribute to patient healthcare, and Pav is in property. And I was ignorant to the industry. I'm not ashamed to admit that. I had no experience in this whatsoever. And I had a lot of noise. I was confronted. I did it anyway. I have to say I was a little bit more blue in this at the beginning. I'm a yellow by nature. But I was definitely more blue. I'm not facts or evidence. Pav was very factual and evidence-based. He did the hours of research and due diligence. And I went through this with his belief, right? He didn't even tell me when he first started. He was like, this is working, we can do X, Y, Z with this, and yeah, we're going to put more into it, and we can do whatever we want, and we can build foundations. I was like, okay, just trust the process, let go. And that's what I did, and it was probably the hardest year of our life actually. We went through some pretty heavy milestones. We did a pandemic wedding. We lost 4 close family members. We moved, refurbed, lived with family members. Through that, had multiple counselling sessions for bereavement. So yeah, we went through most shit that you won't go through for over 10 years in 1 year. And like Kalpesh said, we had our laser focus on the end goal. And we pushed it, and that's the focus that got us through such a turmoil year. And I actually was at this leadership event in Dubai in December, and I took so much from it. And I remember thinking, I'm going to get out of the rat race, and I'm not going to go back to it. And yeah, I love my job. I contributed to the NHS during one of the hardest points of COVID, and yeah, I left my job 4 weeks ago. I'm in self-employment. I was very confronted, and there was so much noise going on for me. I thought I could never be good enough than my husband when talking to people. It was mad because he was like, you can be so good at this, you do medical sales for a profession. Yeah, I'm yellow by nature, but you best believe I can tap into my inner red, and that's what I do. You know, when I need to be red, I'll be red. And so much magic happened when I left my job and I stepped into it 100%. And it's changed our lives. I'm 28 years old, he's 30 years old, and we're building foundations for our future. And I believe in this. I gifted memberships to my mum over there, who's a foster carer. You know, she's not stressed anymore. She's not getting her work through fostering. So yeah, this is amazing, and you can all do it too.
Wow.
Well done.
So I'm actually very red and very bullish. And I decided before we got to V5 that I was going to be a V5. I'm very aware that if someone else can do something, then I can do it. You know, if I can see someone else has done it, I don't always have the confidence to trailblaze, but you know, I saw Kalps had done it. I'd seen that my uncle Harinder had done it. I'd seen that my uncle Prab had done it, and I thought, I don't give a fuck, I'm doing this. I'm being honest, that was my thought, I'm going to do it. And we did. I had the toughest emotional year of my life. And you know, it was one of the hardest things I've done. When people say, you know, you can fly through this compensation plan, you can let go, you can have fun, that wasn't my experience of it at all. It was, you know, a hard slog, and I was honest with myself. You know, what are the excuses that I'm making? You know, Pav, what are the excuses? Are they real? Are they bigger than what my goal is? And, you know, in any other circumstance, you know, losing that many close family members, going to 3 funerals in the space of 20 days, I think, you know, they could be big enough excuses. And I didn't let them be, because I was a stand for my future, I was a stand for Jess's future, and I knew that, you know, if I want to achieve what it takes to be V5, then I have to push through and ignore these excuses. So I had those experiences, and I went through 18 sessions of bereavement counselling while I was doing this, and it was the toughest thing I've ever done. And when we hit V5, 25 minutes later we went to bed. I had leaders calling me, right? Like VIP 5 stars calling me to congratulate me, and I missed the calls. and it was because it was the first time I'd stopped to breathe, and I thought, shit, what have we been through? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. We've been through all of this stuff, and we still managed to make it. And it was an overwhelming sense of pride that, you know what, like, we made that happen. And it just goes to show that whatever you're going through, or anything that you're experiencing in your life, if what you want is bigger than that, you'll achieve it. And as long as you're willing to put the work in, you can make it happen.
I'm jealous, 28 and 30. Oh my God, I am so jealous of that. Oh God, my story, yeah. It's... Okay. Right, well, I'm a single mum, 4 amazing kids. God, I got that right. The 2 men that I've got the children to, I got that terribly wrong. So 15 years of being on my own. No, I'm not asking for dates. I don't want to be taken out on dates. I'm actually really comfortable with me. My life is filled with grandchildren, kids, hassle. And I'm involved in this thing called networking, right? So we're never alone. Absolutely never, never alone. So if anybody's feeling lonely, you know, this is the best place to be. For me, my journey, I've been involved in the online industry probably 10, 11 years-ish. Seen the good, seen the great, seen the bad, and I've seen the ugly. It's all about when you see something yourself for the first time, you think, wow, you know, you're like, can you imagine what happens when we get there? Well, I'll tell you what happened. Every single company I went with, two major ones that I pushed, I got to the top, of course. I expected it. And, you know, and it wasn't because I'm great at anything, it was just because I believed I could do it. So when something happened 5 years ago, and I was a target for press. I don't know. I mean, do I look good or something? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's with women, it's tougher. And I'm not here about excuses and saying it's okay for you. It is tougher as a woman. And I think single women, successful women, it's easier to pick on me than pick on Kalpesh. It's easier to pick on me than pick on you. It always is for a woman. Okay, so I was like, I remember when I got asked to look at this, it was like, no, I'm not touching anything again. You've got no chance. And then Kalpesh came to me in January 2020. And I went, no, it wasn't that I didn't trust. It was because that feeling in the pit of my stomach, I was like, oh my God, I'm not going anywhere near it. And then about March, Keith and John, and I said, I just don't want to do this again. I haven't got the fight left in me to do one again. But I do remember speaking to my business partner and saying to him, mid last year, because I went away and bought myself a commercial building to open a bar, something a little bit different. I don't drink, so it's going to be great. I'll make more profit. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I remember saying to Dan and saying, do you know? He went, what? I said, do you know, I actually think I've got one more build left in me. He went, are you kidding me? I said, if I could only find something that's that true and solid, I'll do it. And I'd already been shown, but I wasn't listening, right? Because you do this. So when I actually got started, I'd studied for 3 weeks and I said to myself, okay, I'm going to make a decision. If this is right, I'll do it, but I'm going to study it. So I studied, and I'm actually a red, okay? But I was a serious green. Oh my God, I was a massive green for 3 weeks, and I'm certainly not a green. And I think Georgie said to me, do you not like greens, you or something? I'm like, oh, keep away from the green, but I was a serious green. And I remember thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I have turned away something so unique and big. The possibilities with this is endless, right? And I went, oh God, you idiot, you tool. So anyway, so I then had to speak to my business partner and say, listen, this is happening. And he was like, listen, we said we weren't going to do, we're not going to touch it. And guess what? These were my words to him. I said, you've got no idea what this is all about. And I said to him, I said, listen, you're either coming with me or I'm off. Wow. And he went, right, I better get looking at this. I said, you've got 2 choices. You're either coming with me or I'm off. So I'm going to give you the ultimatum because I've got to go. I've got some work to do. He was actually away that weekend. He came back. He took a look and he went, what the heck have you been doing? I sat down, say I signed up on a Friday or something. I sat down Friday, I worked from Friday till Monday, and I think I had about 10 hours sleep.
Wow.
I just made a pledge that I would go to work straight away. And then I cheated myself, guys. I hid from people. I hid from the public. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I can't go out public because people will know I'm into... No. I'm going to build underground. I'm going to keep myself all nice and clean. I don't got any hassle. I haven't got the haters mithering me. I'm just going to build underground. So that's what I did. I went underground like a little mole, roaming around. And then I was moling around everywhere, loving it, by the way. And then I said, when I went on the leadership call in February, and I didn't really know the leadership was happening, and I went, just took one look, and I went, oh, right, yeah. What, 5.5 months? Okay, then, bring it on, Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda, bring it on. So I said to Dan, look, there's 2 of us, let's get, a couple of positions, and let's run with it. And he was like, you do your thing. And we started to run, and I failed in 5.5 months. It took me 6.5 months to get to V5. I know, right?
One of the greatest failures of all time.
Yes. And then we did the second V5 in 8 months. So, it wasn't about... Failing has never been an option. I was an international judo player. So... For me, I always believed, I remember when I used to be training years ago, and I used to go, what will my competitor be doing? So I used to run on Christmas Day. I used to run on Boxing Day. And I used to go, well, if she's going to be running, I'd bloody run further. Do you know what I mean? And I always was told I wasn't the most talented judo player, but I had grit and energy and passion. But people knew when they had to face me on a judo mat, that they had a bloody heck of a fight. I remember going in the toilets one time, and the girl said, who have you got first fight? I was in the low, and she went, oh my God, I've got Sharon James. And the girl went, oh my God. She said, she's an animal. And I remember I came out like that. And I thought, oh my God, So honestly, guys, fight. I have fought my way through life. 2 arsehole men. Had to stand it on my own, been in debt, kept 6 houses going on my own. I've been through it all, trust me. But I've always believed. And when I came back to business, I sat all my children down and I said, I want your permission, your permission, your permission, and your permission. What do I do? And 3 of them went, go for it. One of them went, well, you better get your money out, you better be careful. I kicked him out of my house. And I said, come back when you know what you're talking about. So he came back, watched information, and he went, oh, I think I was wrong, Mum. I said, yes. So listen, your family are your worst enemies. Your friends can be your worst enemies. In fact, they can be the worst. So stick to... Look at the factual information, make this shit happen. Because I'm telling you what, guys, you ain't never, ever gonna get a chance like this again. Ever. So, great, V5. And I remember thinking, God, that's where it starts. And then I watched that guy. And I'm like, no, I'm just following him. I'm just like holding on his tail, holding on his tail, and I'm thinking when he stops, I'll stop. So I don't think that's happening, is it? Oh God, really? Oh God.
Pull our sleeves up again.
So we're just pulling our sleeves up, working. I love working. I've got an amazing community. We've got some serious, strong women coming through, which is blinking brilliant. Women, men, young, you lucky leaders, and old, it doesn't matter. We've got fantastic leaders like Gobi, I mean, seriously, this guy's taking countries over. Yes. So we have got superb people in our community. Myself, Daniel Booth is my ground man. He grounds me. But he always said to me, I've learned with you. He said, when you're on one, I have to let you go. Because I'm like a flower. And if you try and condense me. I fight through and I can't cope, so I need to be released, guys. So just women, hands up, what's happening? I won't be fine. Come on, let's do it. And I just have to thank this beautiful man, because what he's done for our community is just legendary, isn't it, guys?
Milan.
Hi everyone. My name I am Milan. Originally I came from Nepal, but came from challenges. I spent my 15 years in British Army. I came from army background, so challenge. After 15 years, I was doing a driving job in London, and then I started network marketing. Say about 4 or 5 years ago. I spent so much time, so much money, all these useless businesses. Maybe I spent more than £100,000. You know, all my friends saying, "Hey, this is good. Come here, do this. You get this much profit. Here, there. Put it there. After 3 months, 4 months, it's gone. You can find it on the internet. You know where the business is gone, where the CEO is gone." Then suddenly, one of my friends came. "Hey, this is so nice. You get 3 times. Okay, let's try. How much a day?" So many businesses, there are 2%, 3%, 5%, something. Here only 5%. Only 5%? Alright, 5%, that's fine. Maybe it's better, you know, you get less, but maybe it's long lasting and better one. Then I started. Then I was asking my friends, "Hey, there's better one than the previous one. Shall we try?" No, maybe you will get something from me out of me. That's why you're telling me these things. No. We will both get it. End of the day, we will do something better on this one. Then, you know, I couldn't find that many members. Then I went to my sister. Then she said to me, "Hey, brother, you come back to me again. You want to put my money somewhere in the bin or something?" No, don't say that. Will you do something? Let's try. Then I knew the outcome of this business, so I gave up my job. As soon as I knew, I studied a bit. I have a mentor. He lives in Portugal. My friend, someone called Rosenbauer. He's a very, very good mentor. He's got, I think, double degree here about these cryptocurrencies, about marketing stuff and everything. He was like my very good mentor. I follow him. We start doing Zooms twice a day, and I was in his Zoom 10 in the morning and 7 in the evening. I knew what will be the outcome from this business. Then I gave up my job. I started slowly. I started marketing. Within 1 year, I became VIP 5. Wow. I think it's 18, 19 months now. Whatever I was making before, working whole month, making within a day now. Not even a day. So I don't have any academic qualification. You know, I was born up in the hills in Nepal. I joined army I was 17 years ago, 17 years old, with only high school education. If I can be a VIP 5, you guys, everybody can be a VIP 5. My sister, she's a housewife. She never knew anything about marketing, this and that. Now she's a VIP 4. Wow. I think within a month or so, she's going to be VIP 5. Wow. And there are a few other VIP 3, VIP 2. I got lots. You know, I think I have more than maybe 1,500 members in my team now. Wow. So, amazing. I was working here like, I don't know how many hours, 17, 18 hours a day. I don't want to repeat what I did in my life. So life is challenge. We have to face it. If I can do it without any academic education, you guys, everybody can do it. Let's go for it. Yeah.
All right. Tails in the house. So look, I come from 30 years corporate. All right, in HR, human resources, which means I'm somebody who likes to cross the T's and dot the I's, and I like to stick to what I know. All right, so In 2016, I was made redundant from my job of 30 years. The month before, I just separated from my husband, and the month after, I had to sell my house. So I was in a place where like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? But one thing that I knew was I was not going to put my financial future in the hands of another corporate organization ever again. So I thought, you know what? I run a business because it sounded really glamorous, you know. But I come from no sales background or experience, no networking experience, no business experience or marketing or anything. So you could imagine how business went, right? It was not pretty. It was not pretty at all, right? I remember going to my first networking, business networking event, and surrounded by loads of men, and I had to do my 60-second pitch, and I went home and cried because I hated it so much, right? So anyway, I struggled in business. It was a real, in lockdown, things just went bad to worse. Kappa shared this opportunity with me, and I was like, it's all right, love. I'd rather struggle than do this. Because I didn't understand crypto, like digital currency. What is even that? It's just like something on a computer, right? What do you even do with it, you know? And the technology scared me. And then he talks a lot about, MLM, network marketing. I was like, cringe. like, that's not my thing. I'm a corporate girl. I don't do network marketing. It just sounds too, like, dodgy, like, really. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. It's all good. I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing because I actually love what I'm doing, all right? That's what I thought. But when things just get really tough, and I remember like in lockdown, things were so tough. I even went back to Tesco where I used to work and fill shelves during lockdown. People were scared to go out there, and I made myself a key worker just to bring some money in, and I really did hate, it wasn't the job, it just brought me back to my HR roots as to why people don't love organizations. And I really got that experience of it. So I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to do what brings me joy. Anyway, Capra said, have another look at this opportunity. I watched the Amazon Prime documentary and the presentation, and I thought, there's a documentary made about these guys. They're not cowboys. They're real people. They know their stuff in this industry, all right? And then I thought as well, when was I really abundant? It was when I was taking risks in life, I need to resurrect that girl. How am I going to do that? I had no savings, I was in debt, I was constantly getting messages from my bank saying I'm in my overdraft, they're going to charge me fees. I was in a whole, in the red every single day, right? But I had some jewelry in a safe. So I got hold of that jewelry and I sold that jewelry, my gold jewelry, right, from my wedding, and I got $10,000. Now, in my head, I was like, I got $10,000 now, I could just use that. But Kapish's voice again, like, how long is that going to last you? So I acquired a package in November 2020, $10,000, and I just did some rebuys for a little while and thought, let me see, 50 HU, 60 HU, 70 HU. I'm like, how many people work hard to get 90, 100 HU a day? I'm doing that in my sleep. I need to tell people. I did my first launch February 2021, 20 people showed up, 16 people signed up, which was amazing. And now, in the beginning, I was like those, is it yellow people that go, yeah. I was a bit like that, right? Like, who's gonna sign up, right? If I show, who's gonna sign up, like, who's gonna trust me to do this? So I was a bit like, and somebody said yes to like 300, I was like, ooh. And then I started to get, this is like, as I started to build trust in myself, right, I started to really build my red power. Then I was going redder, dark red, like blood red, and then as I started to grow my team of my leaders, and I have to say to you guys, right, so I'm also a single mom, I didn't have a support. I literally had to learn the processes, how to fund, how to, everything I had to learn. Actually, because Kapish is my upline, right, in the beginning. And I'd be like, Kapish, how
I'm very blue.
So I'd go to him and say, like, we need to withdraw. He said, oh, when you figure it out, can you show me? Can you show me? So I'm just like, okay, yeah, cool, let's like figure it out. It was so cool. But, like, even with my daughter, I was like, God, I'm spending so much time now, because Kapish was like, okay, when you're ready to do a presentation, I'm like, I'm not ready to do a presentation. He goes, no, we're going to do presentations from next week, right? And I still don't know what I'm doing, right? But I went and did a present. My first one was so bad. I was shaking in my boots, yeah? But do you know what? I was like, I need to do this. Why do I need to do this? Because I need to be this, right? And you should see me some days. It was like 6:15. I put the Zoom on, go and do my lippy, put my dress on with my jogging bottoms underneath. That's how it was for me, yeah? But, you know, I have to say, I literally had to say to my daughter during that time, right, look, baby, mummy really needs to do this for us, you know? And I just need you to do your studies. You know, I'm going to count on you to take care of you, and I'm going to take care of us. And she was so amazing. She was so amazing. That girl, honestly, has been just like a rock for me, because that's what she did, you know. And a year later, you know, I hit V5. A year later, I hit V5 after my launch. And we were in Russell Kamer and at Kapish's Dubai event, you know, and she sat down with me and she said, Mum, I just need to sit down with you and just have this moment of gratitude with you, right? And I said, what's going on, right? And she said, like, put your phone down and just look at me 1 minute, Mum, because you always like got your gadgets on, right? So she's like, just look at me. I said, okay, cool. She said, I just have to say to you, Mum, that you have not given up. Like, you have smashed it. Like, you struggled, but you didn't give up. You have been one badass bee. I want to be that too. Wow. You know, like, for me, that is like the icing on the cake, you know, for me, that my daughter can see, and I could be a great role model for her, you know. It's so awesome. And the other day she was telling me about, literally on the journey, I had to pay her to read books, yeah, because, you know, in lockdown, things were tough, right? But I wanted her to get personal development, you know. So I paid her to read books, right? Like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Science of Getting Rich, and all of that sort of stuff. And the other day she literally came to me and said, Mum, I need to hang around with people who, you know, who are going places. I said, why is that then? She said, you know, in that book that I read, it said that when you surround yourself with 5, you become like the 5 people you surround yourself with. I was like, I'm so glad you read that book, you know. So it's just incredible, right? And I just want to say that I'm so, so privileged, so honoured that Kalpesh did not give up on me, that he was a real stand for me, you know. And this is honestly... You know, like I come from no experience. This is my first opportunity in this, you know, like industry. And you know, I've gone through, you know, people saying this is scandalous, this is that, but do you know what? I'm so unattached to it all. I'm so cool, literally. When I share with people, I share my journey. And I share the awesomeness. And do you know what? Now, I'm like, if they say, oh yeah, it's this, it's that, I'll be like, okay, cool. Who's next? You know? Like, that's how cool I am about it, right? And I just want to say, right, that I'm really, really privileged. I've got an amazing, amazing team around me. But how do you get a great team? You don't babysit people. Yeah, you read it. You know, and I'm so honoured. Like, my best mate and sister, Lucky, is, you know, one of my amazing, amazing leaders, and she's here with me today. You know, Jag's in my team, Shweta's in my team, and I just feel so honoured to be surrounded by incredible, amazing human beings, right? So I feel really honoured to everybody that said yes to me. Let's go together, guys, and grow together.
Say one thing. I was trying to say one thing. Obviously, a massive shout out to our team. So we've got people here from as far as Wolverhampton, Birmingham. You know, they've driven early. So thank you to you guys. You know, we couldn't have done it without you guys.
All right. So. Oh, there we go.
Everybody, first, I congratulations to everyone who are in this room because they are here. I don't know whatever the reason, but I want to give one message. When I went first in Dubai, I saw so many energy and so many people there from all over the world. Then when I went in February, I saw from the South Africa the people. Yeah. And they came. And today I am here. I just want to give one message to everyone. I never had a dream after my marriage. Before I was living as a child, I was living in a fairy tale world. After my marriage, I accept what Kalpesh said, yellow, whatever is there, just follow that step. No question, nothing. Then the life, like Kalpesh says, that it changed. We don't know when. My life changed after my husband's illness. And then, in a short, I just tell you one thing. My husband had a very good dream. He always dreaming very high, flying things. Porsche car, my family should have this, my family should be driving this car, they should have this like a big house. I never dreamed of that, nothing. But I had one dream in my mind always, because I was born in Tanzania, and that was a near seaside. I always wished that something, whenever I go and stay, I have my own house, I should have near the beach. When I came in this country, I dreamed about that, and Kalpesh knows that, Margaret, and I always used to say that whenever we buy the second house, it should be near the beach. Well, today my husband is not here, but I want to give the message to everyone that he is not here, but as a spiritual, because I believe in a spiritual power. Yes. Yes. And I think he is watching wherever he is, maybe in rebirth in this world. I don't know where that soul is, but I had a faith that he is watching. He might be somewhere in his events. I don't know, but I truly from my heart I say that soul, who what he wished has came true today to our family. I feel myself, because I am a zero in energy of this technology. I can win the universe, I always tell them. But in technology, I am zero. But today I feel myself that I am a V5. Oh. Wow. That all of you are V5, I am V5 myself as well. That's what I feel.
You are.
Message I wanted to give, that I'm so happy that I see so many people on this earth that they're getting in touch with us, this family. So this family, our family is very blessed, and I thank you for the energy force that who is blessed.
Wow. All right, I know. Wasn't expecting that. You can see where the blessings come from, right? Yeah. So, thank you everyone for coming to the end of part 1 of our day, or part 2 of our day. Part 3 starts after, where we mix and mingle and yeah, just have some fun for a bit in the foyer area. Sorry? Do some of this mingling. Yeah, exactly. I'm overwhelmed, like really, like, you know, just, I never know what I'm going to say when I get on stage. Right? Some of you that know me know that. I am guided and led by a higher power. I just plug into that whenever I'm getting in front of any audience, and I trust that the right knowledge, the right information will come out to the audience that needs to be delivered. And so it's been really fun today. I've really enjoyed everything that has happened with all of us. I want to thank all of you for participating and playing the game. And what I said at the beginning still stands true now. Not everything that I've said is gospel, but take what you need to take for you based on where you are in your journey and apply that, right? Whatever it was, there was a bunch of stuff shared. Whatever was useful for you, whatever was valuable for you, this is all about you, right? Today is all about you. The biggest blessing you can give back to me is applying something in your life that creates a breakthrough that you were struggling with, that you were stuck with, that had you not be the best version of yourself. If I see you 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, shining and thriving in your life, my job is done. All right? So thank you so much. Alright, so we've got some good news. The restaurant we were going to go to after this, which is next door, opens at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're trying to rush out and get there before it gets full. But yeah, we can do that after, so no rush. So we can hang around in the hotel foyer a little bit anyway. I want to make sure that you know what you're going to do when you leave here. Too often we come to events and seminars and feel good and feel pumped up, and we wake up the next morning and nothing changes. All right? So to end the day, I want each and every one in the room to write down some actions, some action steps, however big or small. I don't really care. It's for you, right? Some action steps that will allow you to wake up tomorrow different, with something physically to do. It's a doing step, all right? Not a thinking step, not doing like watching more videos and reading more books. That's all good. You'll do that anyway. Physical actions that are measurable to the progress of your rank advancement, all right? How many people are V4s in the room? Show me your hands if you're a V4 in the room. 1, 2, 3. 3 V4s, huge giant. Give a round of applause to these guys. Any V3s in the room? Look around again. Amazing. As I often say, V3 in our company is the top of any other company on the planet. So again, if you're a V3 here, you are already head and shoulders above the rest of the world when it comes to being a professional network marketer. You've got it. You've done it. Well done. Massive, massive congratulations. Any V2s in the room? Show me your hands if you're a V2. V2 is the rank the company recognizes as you've done something serious. It's when they allow you to benefit from global growth rather than just your personal growth. That's leverage to the next level, right? Where you get paid on what the person next to you does, the person behind you, the person in front of you, the person in another country, the person, anyone, anywhere in this entire globe does an action that produces a result, you benefit as a V2. So it's a huge, huge acknowledgement from the company that that's what you've done for the company, all right? So own that. That's who you are. V1s in the room. Any V1s? Congratulations. I've always called V1 base camp. You've proven that you're ready and worthy to climb, all right? V1 is no joke. And so you're there, you know, get yourself ready, get yourself comfortable with the summit, and know that you're heading to the top. You've done the groundwork, you've laid the foundations. Cool? So really amazing V1. Are there any professionals in the room? Any pros? Woo! rank says is, you know, you've now got the respect and the acknowledgement of the community as you're running a business. You've gone out of, you know, kind of the mindset of I can't, oh, it's not, all of the noise, and you've moved into the gear that says I'm a pro now, right? You've proven that to your community. Then that is the big responsibility role as a pro, because now you can lead. All right, you're no longer a follower. You're now a leader of your community. You've got a community, and now you want to step up and lean into that leadership role. Cool, as a professional. Any experts in the room? Experts in the house? And we celebrate expert more than any other rank for the simple reason that very few do everything it takes to get to the first rank. I call it the hardest rank because it's easy not to. As simple as that. You are, own it, right? It's easy. Most people will say yes to the opportunity and no to the ranks. Are you with me? Yeah. So when somebody achieves that first rank, it's a huge demonstration of growth. Because as you've heard from everyone that shared today, it's not easy, right? It's simple. It's not easy. And the reason it's not easy is because we're complicated, all right? Everything we share is really, really simple. But then we get in the mix. And when we get in the mix, everything simple becomes complicated. Is that making sense? Yes. So it is as simple as it is. There's no hidden secret that people that are getting through the ranks are keeping to themselves and not giving. None of that goes on here. Everything is available to everybody. But you've got to work out your own demons, all right? And experts do that. It takes everything, because it's easy not to. And I learned that many years ago. Anything that's easy to do is also easy not to do. And that's that fine line that we're always juggling with every day. Anything, it's as easy to pick up a McDonald's or a KFC on the way home than it is to go to an M&S and get some celery and some hummus, right? So, you know, that's the daily battle. As Jim Rohn says, where is darkness when the lights are on? It's waiting. Darkness is waiting. It's never gone. It never disappears. The minute you switch the lights off, it goes dark. Is that making sense? It's always there. And that battle of bringing light to your darkness is the journey of life, right? So how much light you're bringing to your journey. And that expert rank shows that you now know how to turn the torch on. Most people don't know how to turn the torch on, right? They're living in darkness because they don't have that power. So it's a huge, huge achievement. Well done, congrats, and well deserved, right? And who's on their way to V5? Woo! That's what we're talking about. Come on. Remember this. Always stay grounded. V5 is dizzying heights. All right? It's dizzying heights. You won't ever know until you get there. But be prepared to get there. Because when you do, it puts you at a point in terms of results in the top, in this company as a V5, you are in the top 1% of the top 1% of the industry. That's what V5 is. You're in the top 1% of the top 1% of the industry as far as numbers go. Just understand that. So whenever you are near a V5, whenever you're speaking with a V5, whenever you're in contact with your upline V5s, just know that you're heading there. They've been through more than you have yet, always, by sheer measure of the bar in the back of the back office, right? So they've been through a lot more than you have. You've got a lot more to go through. But the fact that they've been through everything that you're about to go through, and they want to help you get to where they are, it's a powerful relationship. Respect it, honor it, nurture it, and prepare yourself for it. Because that's what you want to head to. You want to look up to your V5s and see, right, what's the gap between me and them? What's the gap that I'm bridging? What am I, what's the growth opportunity here? And that way you'll own the rank. There are some V5s that don't own the rank. I'm talking about two different things here, right? There's V5 the rank, and then there's V5 the person. Just making sense? I want everyone here to really understand this distinction. Be the kind of V5 that the team knows that when they get to V5, they want to be like you. All right? That's the difference. You can get to V5 by accident. You get a couple of good people in your business and they do volume, you get to V5. It's not about the rank. It's about who you become when you get to that rank. So the commitment is, who are you? And that starts today. Doesn't happen then. Who you are when you're V5 is who you are now. Work on that, right? Like I said, money just magnifies who you are. So become the kind of who you are that when money flows in your direction, and it will, in abundance. And when that happens, that the who you are, you're clear about that person. You don't get lost in the success. Does that make sense? Yeah. There are V5s that get lost in their success. All right, and it's not a pretty sight. All right, I've seen a couple, and it's not a pretty sight at all. So be a pretty sight. Is that okay? Be the kind of sight that the people in the team are saying, yeah, you know what, we represent that. So that's it. I'm done. I want to thank you once again, and let's have some fun. Let's break up, meet the
We're going to go outside and get a photo. Over there. Over there, yeah?
Hey guys, if you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Like it, comment on it, and share it. Do that. It works. Fun.